Well, tonight we've got a very fun show because the entire show revolves around a very special family whose story is told in a new movie called Unsung Hero. You're going to get a sneak peek at the film. You're going to meet its stars and the amazing family behind it and enjoy their music, some of the most popular music in the world today. To kick it all off, I want you to welcome Luke and Joel Smallbone, better known as the four-time Grammy-winning duo for King and Country. I have been so looking forward to having this show, getting you guys on and talking about something that I think is amazing. You know, your music is world-changing. You've done books, but now a movie based on the story of your family's life. Pretty exciting.
Is it true, Governor, that this is the first time anyone's taken over the whole show?
First time, absolutely. So we've never done this before.
How about that?
We love you guys enough that the entire show is all about you.
Okay.
You're smiling like you.
He
loves that, doesn't he?
I feel a lot of pride in this moment, you know?
Well, you know, there's so much of this that it's fascinating because there was a lot before there was a movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
The music, then there was a book. It was about really the life of your mom and her extraordinary influence in your life. Your dad as well, of course, but we had your mom on a few months back and talked to her about the book. How did the movie come about?
Yeah, so just to give some context, rewind back, you know, to many, many years ago, seemingly these days, to where we were originally born in Australia. Hopefully you can still tell. It is true, you Americans have jacked up.
I thought that was an Alabama accent. It
Not
sure
quite.
sounded like that.
Though we are from the deep, deep, deep South.
Okay, there we are, yeah.
But it is true, you Americans have jacked up our accent, so thanks for that. But born in Australia, our dad was a concert promoter back there. On one particular tour that he brought back, we lost everything that we had as a family. We lost the house, we lost the car, we lost the life savings. And so Dad was looking for a fresh start for his career, for the family. And so he thought it would be a good idea to move his 6 kids and his wife, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, to Nashville. And that's exactly what we did. But soon after we arrived in Nashville, my dad lost the job opportunity that he had here. And so we were stranded, no friends, no family, sleeping on beds made out of clothes, didn't have any way for our little sister to be born in a hospital. I weren't always quite sure where the next meal was going to come from. Didn't have a car at the time. So the list went on, and I've told that story for quite a number of years at our concerts, and had a lot of people come up and say, "Man, Luke, you should write a book." And the truth is, Joel and I were homeschooled, so we don't read or write very well. And
shout out to the homeschoolers.
We thought maybe we should make a movie instead. And look, the heartbeat behind the movie is this: I believe in the power of family. I think family is more important today than it ever has been in the history of the world. But yet we don't value it the same way that we should. And Mother Teresa says, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And that's really the heartbeat behind the film.
We're going to watch a trailer of the film, get a little taste of it, and then we're going to talk to Joel and Luke about what we're going to see in the rest of it.
On my last tour back home, I lost a lot of money.
A life of pages, waiting to be found.
How can we say goodbye to everything that we know and love?
This is my last chance. I want to do something that matters.
A heart that's hopeful, a head that's full of dreams.
However you guys feel about being here, we need to pray for everything that we need.
But this becoming is harder than it seems.
But look around you. Your family, your faith.
Feels like
That's what makes you rich in life.
Welcome to Nashville, y'all. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. This is our exciting adventure together.
You have been given a beautiful voice.
She's a special one, David.
Trigger's getting other folks to see it.
Does anybody really care what a 16-year-old girl thinks about God?
I'm trying to protect her, and it will never be enough.
It's going to be dangerous and scary It's going to be so hard that you want to go back. And giving in, it's not an option. We've got to fight our way forward.
Your family, they're not in the way. They are the way.
It takes a lot to live out your dream. Hard work and sacrifice. My dream is to be like you. You're my hero, Mum.
Are y'all from England?
Australia.
Australia. I wish I had an accent.
I already am dying to see the film. Joel, most people know you as the other half of For King and Country, but you not only wrote the script of this film, you directed it, and you play the role of your own father, which I find incredibly intriguing, probably more difficult than writing or directing it.
I have dubbed it a very expensive therapy session. It was interesting. We've been doing a lot of reflection lately just because we're right on the precipice of it being released into theaters. And I did not anticipate writing or even co-directing, but as musicians, you kind of have to be all things to all people all the time. You're the writer, you're the performer, you're the producer, you're the marketing. And so it just kind of, the way the cookie crumbled, I just sort of stepped into these roles incidentally. But from the beginning, I had always felt inclined to play Dad. I can't even really explain it. It was Luke came up with the idea in 2020 and called a producer friend and said, what if we start putting this into development? It was one of the first conversations I remember saying, I think it would just be so fascinating. We know Dad so well. I'm roughly Dad's age when he moved now. And so I've always seen this story from, Luke and I were 5 and 7 when we moved. So we've always seen it from a childlike perspective. But to now experience it, not only in writing, but to literally enact the story and put on my shoulders, all of the strain and the stress and the pride and the insecurity and the protectiveness that he felt over the family, and really dive deep into his shoes. Man, Governor, it has changed the way I see him. There's a stake in the ground of empathy that started at the production of the film and will take me, I think, to my grave, yeah.
I think one of the most fascinating things is that this film, it's a true story, but it's a film that is inspirational because it's all about faith and it's all about family, two things that this country and this world truly needs more of. Now, guys, there's a lot of music in this film, and some of it has to do with other artists that you've invited in, Lee Bryce, Michael W. Smith, your sister. Tell us how that all happened and how it integrates into the film.
Yeah, well, I think when we realized that we were making a movie, we thought, well, there's a lot of people that do, inspired by soundtracks in what we call music.
We are musicians.
Music is our day job, is what we call. Movies is kind of like the hobby, I guess, in some cases. And so
it was a four-year hobby. So
and it's an expensive hobby and a very stressful one. The gray hairs show it. But so when it came to the music, we just thought, well, there's some great songs that we grew up with that maybe we could reintroduce some of the all-time great songs that were, written. And, C.S. Lewis has this great quote where he says, only books worth reading are the ones that are 50 years or, older. In some cases, it's like songs. Like if a song is still around and it's been 20 years, it's a great song.
It's a great song.
And so you take a song like Place in This World is an absolute masterpiece that the lyric of that might be more potent today than it was back when it was released. So it's that type of thought was what we went into thinking through, what if we picked this song and took this song and got some of the friends together and
you guys were thinking about making a phenomenal soundtrack that will also be a great complement to the film.
What's fascinating, we did not spare any expense when it came to time and effort. I mean, literally more features on this Inspired by than any record we've ever done. You mentioned Lee Bryce, Michael W. Smith, Lecrae, Stryper, Amy Grant, Sleeping at Last, Rebecca St. James, Hillary Scott from Lady A. So that's 8 and counting. And it was just a blast, man. We got to explore, there's hip hop on there, there's country on there, there's rock on there. And so we got to explore a bunch of different lanes in the Inspired by.
Well, I think that's going to be as much fun getting the soundtrack as it will to watch the film. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you will now. The button is just below this video, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on those, YouTube will reluctantly start letting you know when we've got a new video uploaded.